Alright, here we are back at the Warhammer Online booth for day 2 of Penny Arcade Expo. We're here with Josh Drescher, the executive producer.
No, associate producer.
Associate producer. I'm sorry. Okay,
Producer.
I apologize.
He will come out of the ceiling and murder us both if I try to claim to be the executive producer of his game.
Okay, I apologize about that,
Sorry,
but someday, I'm sure.
Yeah,
someday. Okay, all right. So, Josh, a couple questions. How long have you been working on this project? From the beginning?
From the very beginning, 3.5 years, since summer 2005.
Okay.
I've been with Mythic for almost 8 years now.
Okay, so what do you think is this game's real unique factor? Something that you think that people will be drawn to come play this game?
Definitely RVR. Realm versus realm combat is something that no other game anywhere on the market can offer you. Games that are elsewhere focused on PvP and so forth, they don't do it the way we do it. They don't do it with the sense of purpose and drive and repetitive, enjoyable content that you can play over and over again. With it, with a feeling that it has impact in the world. That's something you can only get from RVR. But then we also have our Public Quest, our Tome of Knowledge, our Lair system, the capital cities, obviously, our living guilds. There's so much in our game that is unique to us. I think that no matter what type of game player you are, if you're really sort of the exploration-driven player, the hearts and diamonds type, that you want to go out and explore a world, be rewarded for that, we've got that for you. If you're really sort of competitive and you just like to fight against other people, we obviously offer that too. We're the best of MMOs with all the crap taken out.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good MMO. So with that, one of the big things are city sieges, so the other question would be are there any large raids other than city raids?
Absolutely. We've got dungeons. We've got things like the Bastion Stair, we've got our Gunbad dungeon, we've got the Lost Vale. That's actually a dungeon you return to multiple times throughout your career. So it's got a Tier 2 section, a Tier 3 section, a Tier 4 section. Obviously, you already mentioned the capital cities. Public quests, honestly, at the higher levels, some of them get really, really intense. They're going to be of that scope where you're going to need a large group of people playing together, fighting against sort of an epic monster. So our opinion is that you shouldn't restrict really impressive encounters and interactions to the upper levels, that players should be experiencing that kind of stuff from the very beginning. And we do deliver that through our public quest system. If you log in and you're playing in the Elven pairing, you'll fight a dragon within the first 4 levels of the game. You'll fight a Hydra within the first 4 levels of the game. Giants, chaos giants, massive explosions, big scary monsters. We try to give that to you from the beginning all the way through to the end.
Okay, sounds good. So one of the questions we had was in the city, in the inevitable city, there are vendors that sell multiple tiered city sets of armor. There's currently no indication as to what you need to buy those items other than the gold. So what is it that you need to buy those items?
So at the moment, the way that the itemization is handled in the game is not exactly the way that it's going to work at launch. So being able to obviously walk up to a vendor and go, I would like to buy armor off of you that comes from City Siege. There's going to basically be a situation where you earn a certain type of renown in the game and influence in the game by taking part in certain portions of the campaign that then effectively give you access to the city armors that you'll be able to get over time. So looking at the way it is now, it's not the way that it'll be in the final version.
Okay, all right. So are there any from a developer standpoint? How do you envision? How many people do you envision being in a server at one time, and how many people do you envision taking part in a city siege?
In terms of final server population cap, we've been incrementally increasing it over the course of beta. We're at about 2,500 people per server at the moment. We're going to continue to push that number up until we find what we've got as an internal mark for server performance. We basically we want it to be at 75% of what we deem to be full capacity. We don't ever want a server playing at full server performance capacity because you want that buffer of server performance capability in place in the event that something unforeseen happens. You don't want everything to just melt on launch day. So we're looking for that number now. We're going to continue to inch towards it rather than going, let's just add another 1,000 people and see, oh, it melted. So it's an incremental process. Will continue over the rest of it. In terms of City Siege, you're looking on the order of hundreds of players simultaneously involved in that type of stuff. And once you're actually inside the city, there are multiple encounters that you go through prior to attacking what we generically refer to as the King, but in some cases it's an Emperor, in some cases a Chaos Champion. We generically call it the King. That's going to involve lots of players moving through the city in different areas, doing different things, burning down different buildings, killing different vendors, taking out different components of the defenses of the city simultaneously before everybody heads in for the King.
Okay. All right. Here's another question. Do players that have reached level 40 still gain XP for the guild after that?
Absolutely. Your experience that you earn as a character is independent from guild experience. It's also independent from the experience that you donate to realm prestige. Donate's the wrong word because it's not drawn from anywhere else. Right. You basically have to imagine it like you have your experience chain, you have two invisible sort of experience pools that are going to a guild if you're in it, and to your entire realm all the time.
Right. Okay. And finally, what character, class, race, and why?
I've tried them all, but I always come back to the engineer. I think part of it is you got to play what you look like, and I'm kind of dwarvy. And I just love the way the engineer plays. I love the gadgets. I love the turret. Love the flame turret, obviously. It's just a character that I find really unique and interesting. That's a play style that I'm actually pretty good with. Right. But if they took the engineer away, probably go with a marauder, witch hunter, witch elf. There's something to be said for all of them. But yeah, it's engineer for me.
Okay, Josh, thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure everybody out there will enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.